Okay, this is the first for me. I'm going to try to do a video. I haven't done a video before, but I've gotten a lot of questions on these little guys, and I've been trying to get a setup so that I could do a video and talk about them. So it's my little gnome. He is carved from 1x1 x 3-inch basswood. And to start off, I'm going to just rough out the hat and show you how I do that. And so you can see I've marked the position of his hat here. I'm not a big exact measurer. Some people like to have exact measurements, and I like wood carving because I don't have to be exact about it. But if you look at that, it's about 1.25 inches down to the top of his hat. On the side there, that's probably between 1.25 inches and 1.5 inches. So we'll call it 1 3/8 inches, and then probably about 1.5 inches, a little bit more down the back. So I kind of start by just marking that off, and let me get my glove on here, and I'll show you what I do. So the first thing that I do is I just notch in each corner of where the hat's going to go. So that was the front. Here's one side, here's the back, here's the other side. So I'm just doing a straight cut in across the line, stop cut, and then cutting at an angle up into it until it stops out. These don't have to be super deep, but it helps me kind of establish where the hat's going to be. Next, I take my knife, and I put in a stop cut all along the line on one of those sides there, and then I do just a longer cut up here, so I'm kind of establishing the brim of the hat all the way around. Same thing here. Same thing back here. Thing here. So I've at least established where the rim of the hat is going to be all the way around. So the next thing that I do is I want my hat to be a circle, not a square, right? And so what I do next is I just come on the corners here and I push them up. Generally what I do, I know that I want my hat to be a circle, so I try to turn the top part of this into a cylinder instead of a square. And I want the nose to stick out, so this is the front. I want this nose to stick out, so I get my stop cut in there and kind of cut back down to here. The way that I generally think about carving is what's a shape that I know I can make, and I know I can change this square into a circle or into a cylinder shape. And the way I know I can do that is by creating first an octagon, because that's a little bit closer to a circle than a square is. Then I can go around the edges and make it more refined. So you can see I'm starting to get an octagon shape there. I want to get it kind of more even. So I'm going to kind of keep taking these straight faces off. Until I get there. When I'm happy with it from the top, feeling like, yeah, it looks about like a roughly equal octagon. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I kind of try to come back down like this so that I can have that consistency all the way around. Which means on the sides and the back I may cut up into that brim of the hat and the stop cut a little bit. This is the back, so I can actually bring it in quite a bit can bring the sides in. It's fine. Because if I don't do that, it gets harder to really shape the overall hat. The only side I don't do that on is the front, because I want the nose to stick out from under the hat. I like that look. So there, I'm cutting kind of down to create that straight face. So I've got kind of roughly an octagon shape on top. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. And then I just go around to each side, each rough corner, and I smooth it out. So I do that on each corner, then I've got a flat face there, and I just kind of keep doing that so I don't leave any surface unwhittled. Here's the next one. Do both of the hard corners there, and then up the middle. Both of the hard corners. Keep doing the sides. Same thing here. I'm not worrying about tapering the tip of the hat or anything here. Sometimes I will start my notch before I do this step if I really want that hat to stick out to the side a little bit more for simplicity's sake. I won't worry about this little notch to the side until I get to shaping the hat. But if you want it to stick out further, you could definitely start with the notch before you do this step, and then do this. So I'm getting closer to having kind of a circular shape here on the top. You can see it's not perfect. That's okay. That's what I like about whittling, is it doesn't have to be perfect. Close is generally pretty good enough, at least for me. And I've got kind of a rough idea of what the shape of my hat is going to be. So I'm just going to come around here and define the underneath of it a little bit. Cut back up. I will have to cut that nose in a little bit because it's got to go under the hat, but now you can see I've got a nice profile for the nose to stick out from the front of the hat there. And I'll just work my way around. Establishing the underside of that rim of the hat. All right, so that's how I start the hat. In a later video, we'll look at how I shape the nose, or how I actually do the shape on the hat, but this is how I started most of my Santas this year to get a round shape on the hat, and this is how I do my gnomes. I just kind of start by roughing that out, and that's the first step.